Y'all, I sat down to have a nice quiet week, and instead I got handed 3 separate live streams, spanning what I can only describe as more hours than a hostage would be asked to endure. So grab your tea, grab your popcorn, because we are doing this like a proper gossip sesh. I went through every hour. I time-stamped it, I organized it into categories, because at this point, Becky's accusations deserve their own filing system. And before we start, yes, I'm still sitting on 53 accusations against me from the last time I bothered to count. 53. So consider this the bonus round, y'all. Let's see what got added to my file this week. Fair use disclaimer. This video is commentary and criticism under 17 U.S.C. Section 107. No footage or audio from the source live streams is used or played in this video. Everything you're about to hear is my own paraphrased summary of publicly live-streamed statements for accountability documentation purposes only. Category 1. She called me a liar. The character label collection. Okay, first up we've got the let's just call her a liar and move on segment. Very efficient. No evidence required apparently, just vibes and volume. On her July 19th stream, during a read-through of an old email exchange, she referred to having outed me as a liar. Outed. Like I was running an underground liar operation and she cracked the case. That email thread, by the way, was from February. Funny how that timing keeps coming back around. We'll get to that. Foreshadowing. I do that now. On her July 20th stream, she read back a message she says she sent on January 20th, warning someone to be careful of me, calling me a problem. January 20th. Circle that date. Write it on your hand. We're coming back to it. Later in that same stream, she identified me by my old name and described someone leaving a dozen voicemails for a person she referred to as Lady Freedom, calling that behavior grimy. So here's the actual story behind that. Those voicemails were real. I left them. For Lady Freedom, who along with some others was harassing, stalking, and calling me nonstop, including while I was at the vet, putting my dog down. I was grieving. I was furious. I said some things out of pure exhausted anger. Not threats, anger. And that got played back over a year later with zero context to make me sound unhinged. So no, sweetheart, I wasn't grimy. I was a person at the actual worst moment of my life, being harassed in real time. Bless your heart for leaving that part out. Category 2. Who's really behind curtain number 1? The contact claims. This next section is where Becky plays a little game I like to call musical messaging, where the story of who texted who changes depending on which day of the week it is. On the July 19th stream, she claimed I tried to make it sound like she was the one messaging a creator she called Spitfire, asking her to stream certain content, and denied it, saying it was the other way around. Okay, let me tell the actual Spitfire saga, because it's honestly more interesting than her version. I used to restream Britney's content on Rumble. Spitfire asked me for help with her channel. I made her intro song, her graphics, her videos, out of the goodness of my apparently very stupid heart. Her thanks? Complaining that I was pulling bigger numbers than she was. Then she told me something personal about her real life. I felt for her, and I gave up my Rumble stream and moved to Kick. Then Queen Bee, who wasn't thrilled about Spitfire hogging airtime on her own streams, wanted to use my Kick stream instead. That's the story. Nowhere in there did I claim Becky was messaging Spitfire about anything. This is a different plot than the one she's telling. Wrong show, Becky. Later, on the July 20th stream, she suggested that a creator called BJ and I have had, quote, a lot of communication, and floated that as part of some larger situation. A lot of communication? Y'all, I was blocked in her chat. So unless a lot of communication now means the occasional email because I couldn't talk in the chat, I'd love to see this receipts folder. Sometimes I'd send her links or information if I felt for her. I'm an empath. I've been through my own trauma. Sometimes I feel for people even when I probably shouldn't. And sometimes I'd fuss at her too. That's not a conspiracy. That's an email chain with a block button involved. Category 3. Protecting who from what? The mob boss theory. Also, on the July 19th stream, she claimed people had accused her of sending me to bully others, and said that I had been telling people she protects her. Y'all. Here's what protect meant in plain English one time for the people in the back. I used to go by a different name on YouTube. I got bullied, stalked, and doxxed under that name. That is why I rebranded. Queen Bee has known who I am this whole time, and protect meant, please don't blast my old identity to the internet. Not, please run interference for my secret bullying operation. I don't have a mob boss, Becky. I have an old username and a healthy fear of being doxxed again. That's the whole plot. Category 4. Greatest hits re-released. The reruns. Back on the July 17th stream, she made a passing comment that Queen Bee was, quote, wrapped up with me and all the stuff I was doing to other creators. What stuff? What stuff, Becky? You gonna leave that hanging like a cliffhanger with no season 2? This is the vaguest drive-by insinuation I've heard all week, and honestly, I'd love some specifics so I can actually respond to something. And back on July 19th, she brought up the blob photo situation again, this time pairing it directly with my real first name. And here we go again. For the people just joining us, I took a screenshot of something visible on a public live stream and asked what I was looking at. That's it. I didn't create it. I didn't edit it. I didn't participate in spreading it. I forwarded a screenshot and asked a question. And somehow that's been rebranded into a whole mythology with my actual name attached now. Bless your heart for the callback, but it's the same rerun. Category 5, the receipts corner. Okay, y'all know I like to have fun with this, but this last part isn't a bit. Remember January 20th, the message where she warned someone to be careful of me? My own emails from that exact same day, January 20th, 2026, show me explicitly trying to disengage. I was stepping back. I was done. That's documented. That's dated. That's not my memory. That's not my spin. That's an email with a timestamp on it. And remember February 3rd, where she read a message about the chaos I was supposedly causing? My documented emails from February 2nd and 3rd show the dismissive reply I got when I tried to handle this like an adult, privately, before any of this became content. So on the exact same days she was telling other people to watch out for me, I have paper trails showing I was trying to walk away. Not outed as a liar, not grimy. Trying to leave. That's the pattern, y'all. It's not that I keep showing up in her stories. It's that every time I try to exit the story, something new gets written about me instead. So that's the bonus round. Add it to the pile. We're somewhere north of 53 accusations now. I've genuinely lost count. And at some point, counting them individually starts to feel like counting grains of sand. But hey, receipts don't argue. They just sit there. Intermission. The rest of the tea. General community drama from these same streams. None of this is about me, but y'all deserve the full gossip sesh. Okay, before we close out, I promised y'all a proper gossip sesh, and I am not about to make you sit through 50+ hours of content and only tell you the 6 things that involved me. That would be selfish. Let's catch up on everything else. First, July 17th, the Freak Out Friday stream. There's an extended bit about a creator referred to as Bitter Tea, who apparently did an entire members-only live stream rating insults for medical accuracy. Yeast infections, hemorrhoids, parasites, a whole scripted bit, written in advance. Someone sat down and outlined a hemorrhoid joke. Also in that stream, a whole segment on monetization ethics, calling out channels charging up to $29 for membership tiers with, allegedly, nothing to show for it. Not Netflix money. Not even Hulu with ads money. That same day, part 2, a joint stream with another creator going after web sleuths, specifically Trisha Griffith and her annual 24-hour End of the World fundraiser marathon, this year themed around cults. The irony of that theme choice was not lost on anyone in the room, including apparently Trisha herself, allegedly. July 18th, Busted and Broken. Big focus on shutting down a rumor that Queen Bee organized a major fundraiser for her. Her side of the story is that it was $100, sent after Queen Bee's own subscribers pitched in. She also spent a chunk of this stream defining what friend actually means to her, distinguishing people she just interacts with online from actual outside of YouTube friends, and denying she has any negative information on 2 other creators people kept trying to drag into the situation. Later that same day, Island After Dark. This one gets heavier. Accusations that 2 other creators were manufacturing conflict and dangling details of an active missing child's case for engagement. She was fairly firm here that she won't publicly share unvetted information about a real missing child, whatever the temptation for views. Genuinely one of the more reasonable positions in the whole pile, credit where it's due. And then July 20th, lies, lies, and more lies. 8 hours, if you can believe it, wrapped around ongoing litigation, RICO filings, anti-SLAPP motions, several names I'm not going to pretend to have fully mapped out, and a lot of screenshots of private texts presented as proof of who isolated who. It's giving group chat breakup, but with lawyers. A quick tonal shift, because some of what's in this stream touches Sebastian Rogers' case directly, and that's not something I'm going to play for laughs. Becky claims there's a long-running setup against a creator she calls Granny. She says a tip line contact reached out to Granny directly with information, which she found strange, and that this predates an October 2024 lawsuit that named several creators. She also claims another creator, Clue, was accused of falsely representing contact with law enforcement, and that a creator named Nick released private texts as part of that dispute. And she references RICO allegations that at one point named a nationally recognized bounty hunter figure. I'm stating these as her claims, not as confirmed fact. I don't have independent verification of any of it, and a real missing child's case deserves more care than content. I'm flagging it here for completeness, not commentary. Now, back to something I can actually have fun with, the Julie Skolnick mystery. Somewhere in this same stream, Becky recounts getting a message that Julie was upset with her and another creator, Jay, over how they'd supposedly been treating her. Except neither of them could figure out what Julie was even referring to. Total, did I do something? Energy. Group chat confusion at 2 a.m. vibes. Nobody able to produce a single example of the alleged mean behavior. A real, we need the receipts, Julie, moment. So there you go. That's the rest of the cast this week. Bitter Tea and her hemorrhoid rankings. Trisha and her cult-themed marathon. The $100 fundraiser that became a whole narrative. 2 creators allegedly playing chicken with a missing child's case. a legal drama subplot thick enough to need its own spreadsheet, and Julie Skolnick showing up confused about a fight nobody can actually describe. A packed week, even before we get to my part of it. Category 6, one more round, the deep dig additions. Turns out 50 plus hours holds more than 6 things, shocking absolutely nobody. A few more made the cut. First, a quick one. At one point, Becky reads back a February 5th exchange where Queen Bee tells her I'm still lying to her right now as we speak. Here's the actual context. Queen Bee has had this recurring belief that I was lying to her. I wasn't. That belief traces back to a period when my email account was compromised. She took activity from the compromised account as evidence I was being dishonest with her, when the real issue was account security, not me lying about anything. Turns out, she's lying to me and someone hacked her inbox look identical if you're not asking the right question. Second, during a rant about people re-uploading her content without effort, Becky lumps me in, calling my content AI slop. My ElevenLabs, Suno, and DALL-E use is disclosed. Toggles on. It's original scripted commentary, not a re-upload of anybody's content. Bless your heart, wrong category. Third, and this one actually matters, a chat comment gets read aloud asking why Becky is sitting on personal info sent to her by CR and questioning why she doesn't trust me. Becky pulls up an email on screen and claims I sent her an unsolicited message on May 26th about a channel she calls Crama Chronicles, and that she simply forwarded it along like she does with everyone's submitted info. Here's what actually happened, and it's a lot bigger than unsolicited email. Crama Chronicles got hold of a recorded phone call between me and someone I'll just call White Boy. We are both in two-party consent states. That call could not legally be recorded without my knowledge. White Boy and his wife recorded it anyway, without my knowledge, without my consent. And it made its way to Crama Chronicles, who then sent that audio to Becky. I didn't find out any of this happened until after the fact. What I actually sent Becky wasn't some random info drop about somebody. It was proof that someone was running multiple Facebook accounts under one identity, accounts I had blocked repeatedly on multiple platforms. And Crama Chronicles had been sitting in the same Facebook group as me the entire time. I was showing evidence of who was actually behind a coordinated harassment operation, in the middle of dealing with an illegally recorded phone call being passed around without my consent. That is not emailing tea. That's documentation. And Becky forwarding it straight back to the person I was trying to expose, instead of treating it like the harassment evidence it was, tells you exactly whose side that decision was on. And the last one. In a different stream, Becky mentions me messaging BJ and clipping her non-stop as something that always stood out to her. So the daily 6, 7, 8 to 12 hour live streams on Britney that Becky does is, what exactly? Should I have asked Becky's permission on who on YouTube I can clip? So that's everything. The bonus round on my accusations plus the rest of the neighborhood gossip. We're somewhere north of 53 accusations against me now. I have genuinely lost count. And at some point, counting them individually starts to feel like counting grains of sand. But hey, receipts don't argue. They just sit there. I'm Crama Reels. I'll see y'all in the next one.